March 31st is World Backup Day, a time to reflect on the importance of safeguarding your digital assets and taking action by backing up your data. Whether you're a developer, system administrator, or just someone who values their data, backing up your files is a critical process that can save you from catastrophic data loss. In this video, we'll discuss why backups are essential, introduce you to Rsync, a powerful tool for synchronizing data between two systems, and provide examples of how to use it to create backups on a remote system. Hello developers, and welcome to the PHP Architect channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Scott Keck-Warren, and on this channel, we discuss a wide variety of topics related to the PHP ecosystem. Make sure you subscribe so you can get our latest videos when they're published. Now, whether we want to admit it or not, data loss is extremely common. I used to work with someone who would say it's not if, but when you lose data, because we were constantly restoring data for people who accidentally deleted or overwrote important files or had them stored on a single storage volume and had it fail. Data loss can happen for a variety of reasons, including hardware failure, malware attacks, natural disasters, and accidental deletion. The consequences of losing files can range from minor inconveniences to severe financial losses, especially for businesses that rely on that data for their operations. Given these risks, having a backup strategy is not just a good idea, but it's a necessity. Backups ensure that you can recover your data quickly and with minimal downtime in the event of a disaster. Now, this video sets up a very basic backup solution to create full backups of your data. This will get you started doing backups, but as your data grows, you will need a solution with more options, such as incremental backups that are outside of the scope of this video. I recommend a cloud-based backup solution because the software is written specifically for backups, and then you don't have to maintain another server. The Rsync, or Remote Synchronization Command Line utility, is a widely used command for copying and synchronizing files and directories between two locations. Rsync can be used to synchronize files locally between a local and remote system or between two remote systems. It does so by using an algorithm that only transfers the changes, or deltas, between the source and the destination. It can use SSH to transfer the changes so your files remain safe in transit. It is particularly well suited for backups because of its ability to copy just the deltas of your files. This prevents you from copying all of the files over, which can vastly improve the speed of your backups. Although this video is geared towards backups, Rsync is an amazing tool for synchronizing data between two computers via the internet. For example, I currently generate my website using Jigsaw, and then I use Rsync to copy the generated site to the web server that's hosting it. Offsite backups are an essential part of any backup strategy. Storing backups in a different physical location protects your data from local disasters like fires, floods, and thefts. For remote backups, I recommend finding a provider that will then back up your files and/or who has a very high durability and availability guarantee. For example, Amazon's S3 has a 99.9999999% durability and a 99.99% availability of objects over a given year, which means we can expect to lose one file every 10,000 years if we store 1 million files there. For this example, I'm using a provider that provides backups with a similar guarantee. We'll have more about Rsync after this word from our sponsors. Now let me tell you a quick story about our partner, HoneyBadger.io. One time a customer of theirs had a background job run overnight that caused hundreds of thousands of errors to be reported to HoneyBadger by mistake. Like many other error tracking and performance monitoring tools, HoneyBadger bills for monthly usage. So this customer's mistake was going to cost them a lot of extra money that month. Now, if you've ever used a monitoring service, you might have experienced something like this. Well, fortunately for this customer, they emailed HoneyBadger support and received the most amazing reply. HoneyBadger was resetting their monthly quota and canceling the bill. This is just one example of how much the small team at HoneyBadger cares about their users. Ask anyone you know and they'll hear similar stories. Go check them out at honeybadger.io. It's free to get started and setup takes less than 5 minutes. Don't forget to bookmark it. That's honeybadger.io. For our examples today, we're going to be running Rsync version 2.69 on macOS to back up data to an Ubuntu VM running Rsync version 3.12. To start, I'm going to create a directory called important with file1.txt and file2.txt in it. I also created a backups directory in the home directory of my user on the remote system, and I have SSH set up so I don't have to enter a password when I make a connection to the remote system. This will make everything easier and allow me to automate the backup. A full backup involves copying all of the files and directories from the source to the destination. This is typically done the first time you set up a backup or when you want to create a complete snapshot of your data. I recommend doing this at least once a month, depending on your needs, and ideally every week. The command on the screen will allow you to do a full backup using Rsync to a remote server. When I run it, you can see that it shows the files are being transferred over. We can then check the remote server and see the same files. There are a lot of parameters here, so let's break it down. The A, V, and Z switches are so we can use archive mode, verbose mode, and enable compression respectively. The archive mode is a shortcut to turn on 7 or so options that cause us to preserve permissions and timestamps and perform a recursive copy. The progress switch helps us run it in the terminal so we can see what's happening and how quickly. The next option is important, which is the name of the local directory that we're backing up, and the final option is the destination. In this case, you're telling Rsync that it can connect to a remote server using a specific username, and then it should use what it should use as the destination directory for our files. Now, if we rerun the same rsync command again, it'll attempt to sync the changes, but because there aren't any, it'll just verify that they're correct. However, I can edit file 1.txt and then run the sync to see if there are any changes. Sometimes you may want to exclude certain files or directories from your backup. For example, you might want to exclude temporary files or cache directories. You can use the -- exclude option to specify files or directories to exclude in the sync process. In this example, the temp directory will be excluded from the sync. Now, one of the downsides to this current setup is that we have to manually run the command. What we want to do is automate the backup process so it just happens every night. To ensure that your backups are performed regularly, you can automate the process using Cron, a time-based job scheduler in Unix-like operating systems. We've discussed Cron in the past, so I'm not going to go over every part of this solution, but ultimately, I want to create a job that will back up our data every day at 8 p.m. To do this, you're going to edit your Cron tab file. Using your file will make sure that you can use the SSH keys to have a passwordless login. Then we're going to add the following line so that the backups will occur. Notice that it's essentially the same command that we've been using this whole time, except we skipped the progress switch. Now you've automated your backups. As a brief recap, backups are important for when we lose data. The Rsync tool can be used to create a basic automated backup solution, and paired with Cron, we can schedule and automate the backup. I hope you enjoyed our video. If so, make sure you subscribe, comment, share, and like, as it does help others find us. Have you set up a backup using this solution? Let me know in the comment section below, or send me a message on phpc.social at Scott Keck Warren. I'd love to hear how I can help you, and it always brightens my day when I hear from a fan. This is Scott Keck Warren for the PHP Architect channel signing off, and reminding you to keep watching, keep coding, and keep reading.